so find a way to.
Hello, beautiful beings of light. My name is Monica. Today's video is titled, What is the Meaning of Life? So the meaning of life. This is a question I have been contemplating for the last few years since I gave up my corporate job, my 9-to-5, and found myself very lost and really started to dive deep into the spiritual realm after I had my spiritual awakening. And this is a question I feel not everyone may ask in their life, but a lot of people tend to ask this question. And I have never really heard an answer that completely resonated with me. So I ended up exploring and coming up with my own answer. And I definitely know that this will not resonate with everyone who sees this video, but some of it may resonate with some of you. So this is a big question, and I am going to answer it in a relatively short amount of time. And life is very complex and it has a lot of meaning, and it's whatever you make it to be, honestly. It's whatever the meaning is for you. But I'm going to attempt to explain what my definition of the meaning of life is, why we're here, what's the purpose, like what's the whole point of all this. And there's something that has really come together for me in the last few days, and especially in the last few years since my awakening. So the thing that really finalized this idea or concept for me for the meaning of life was reading a Dolores Cannon book. I had not read one of her books before now, and it is long, but it's so fascinating. I have just been reading it very quickly, and I'm not a very quick reader at all. And if you don't know who Dolores Cannon is, she got really famous in her field. She's no longer with us, she's passed away, but she got famous for doing a lot of past life regression by doing a hypnosis technique that she came up with. And so she would put people under like a hypnotic state, and she would ask their subconscious, I believe, questions about their past lives, things that they wanted to know or things that they needed to see. And the people, her clients, would, I guess, see as if they were in their past life again, and they could identify like what they look like, if they were male or female, the environment around them. And all of the past lives are so different. I mean, sometimes they were what we would consider ETs on other planets. Sometimes they were like in the Mayan era, or like a long time ago, or they were in Egypt with the pyramids, or even they were directly part of Source, or they were just like an energy floating in space, or like a star. I mean, it's so fascinating. So anyways, a lot of things have resonated in this book for me. And one of the things that really stood out to me was at some point someone had said that Source or God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, I'll just call it Source to keep it pretty in sync with the book, that Source, which is like all the energy in the world or in the universe, the galaxy, everywhere, it's everything and nothing at the same time. It's, I guess, not really male or female. You could say maybe it's both. And Source wanted to get to know itself, but itself was so vast that it couldn't see all of it, or it couldn't get to know all of itself all at once while it was together. So it decided to break off into individual pieces and live individual lives as souls and get to know itself that way. The way that I like to think of Source so that I can kind of get a little bit of a better explanation or understanding, is I think of source as like the sun, like just one big ball of bright light, just a ton of energy, right? Full of life. And everyone, all the individuals, all the people, all the animals, all the extraterrestrials, every single living soul is like a ray coming out from the sun. And so even though these sun rays are individual, they're also still part of the main source, which is the sun. It's not separate. And so I believe that is why we have so many lifetimes. I believe in reincarnation, so that we live so many different lifetimes, again, not just here on Earth, but on different planets and in different galaxies and universes, and as energy or as part of source or just whatever, any kind of living energetic being. But the one thing that I still have trouble with, that I can't wrap my mind around, is there not being a beginning or an end. Because as a human with an ego and this lifetime, we pretty much think of everything as linear, as happening in a linear fashion. It's really kind of difficult to wrap our minds around time not being real, and that everything is happening all at once, that we are so multidimensional and expansive, that we're having so many different lives all happening at the same time, that we're not just this one physical being. Like, I am not just this physical body named Monica. Like, I am so many other different facets of a multidimensional being. But I am not personally aware of all of these other beings that are me, or all of the other lifetimes that are me. I believe there are some people that I've heard of that are aware of these kind of like other realities or other lifetimes or other parallel realities that are happening. And I really hope to get to that point one day where I am aware and I do remember. But right now I'm not there. But I do believe. It's just something that, even though I don't have proof, it just feels like a knowing of, yes, that's what's happening. I think life is so much stranger than fiction. I think it's so much more mysterious and magical, mystical, and miraculous than we've ever been told, or that most people believe. And I'm constantly trying to learn more because I find it so fascinating. So that being said, I feel like our lifetimes as humans on the earth is a microcosm of the macrocosm. And I'll see if I can explain that. So the macrocosm being source, being everything and nothing, right? Or God, or the universe. The ultimate creator. And we are individually as souls part of that creator. So like, we are individual parts of source. Or, I know a lot of people don't like this term, especially people who are religious, but you could also look at it or say that we're basically gods and goddesses, because we are part of the main God or the source. Not only is the major source a creator, we are also individual creators, which is why we can use the law of attraction and manifest our own realities. We create our own realities and we co-create together. And so I believe the main purpose and the meaning of life right here, right now, at least for myself, and what I believe for all humans, but this is just my personal belief, take it or leave it, is that we came here, specifically on Earth, which is different from a lot of planets because we don't remember when we come down here why we're here. It's such a mystery, right? So we basically have a sort of amnesia coming into this life. I think we remember a little bit more, if not a lot more, as children. Like, we feel that connection to source. But over time, as we get older and we get more brainwashed and we get more conditioned and we go through all the propaganda in society, and then we have all these limiting beliefs that get programmed into us, we really start to forget who we are on a soul level, and we kind of lose our connection, or that connection to source directly fades some, but it's just not that it's actually faded, it just feels like it, because our soul is always connected, but we're not always conscious that we're connected to source, and that's where we come from. And so we come here to earth with this amnesia to forget who we are. There's like this thin veil that kind of separates us from us. Some people call it our higher selves. And the main purpose is to remember who we are. So I guess if I were to sum it up right there, I would say the meaning of life is to remember who we are at a soul level. Not just, oh, I'm Monica and I'm married and I'm 31 and I make YouTube videos. Those are things that we do. Those are things that make up our personality. Those are things that describe our physical character, our physical body avatar at this time, but it's not all we are. It's not who we are on a very soul deep level. And what also makes it, I feel, so difficult to get to know ourselves is because we tend from a very early age to take on so many labels from society, from our family, from our friends. A lot of our thoughts, our beliefs, I believe, are programmed from outside of us. They're not all what we truly feel that we are. We're more than just labels. Labels such as, being shy or being too loud or being overweight or being super skinny. We just tend to put ourselves in these boxes of these labels, and we make them our identity. And whether they're serving us or not, we tend to hold on to them for long periods of time until we become and some of them we're not even conscious of. They're in our subconscious. So once we really start to do that inner work and we do shadow work and we allow those subconscious beliefs that are kind of like a buoy, they're just held down below, or they're like the iceberg, the bottom part of the iceberg. Once we start to allow those to come up and we look at them, we shine a light on them, and then we go, wait, that doesn't really feel like that's me anymore. Maybe it was at one point, maybe it served me, but it doesn't anymore. Let me kind of get rid of that label. Let me get rid of that identity. Let me start over. Let me change it. And a lot of people, I think, try to find meaning in life through either spirituality like me or religion. And a lot of times with religion, I believe it's about trying to get to know God, having a close relationship to God, as if God is an outside thing that we're not a part of, really. It's something separate. And for me, I guess the ironic part with my belief is I feel like, well, we are a part of God, or we are God in a sense. We all are gods and goddesses, like I said. We are source. We're just one piece of it. And we're all connected. We're all part of it. And so if we're trying to get to know God, then I say, then let's try to get to know ourselves, since we are a part of God. And it's easy, like I said, to get lost in who we are. A lot of us tend to put on masks, these metaphorical masks, when we're around other people to try to blend in, to fit in, to be a part of a group or something, to not feel alone. Or we try to get other people to be like us and copy us and behave like us so that we don't feel insecure. So it's like we're either putting people on a pedestal and trying to be just like them, or we put ourselves on the pedestal and we try to get everybody else to be like us. And a lot of times those, what we think is us is not even us. So we really have to dig deep down and find that connection back to our soul, back to our heart, back to ourselves, back to source, the original source. And I think that's where true happiness lies. I feel like that is the meaning of life. That's the purpose of why we're here. This is definitely a more challenging test because I believe that on other planets and other places other than Earth, the beings there do remember where they come from source. It's not hidden from them. But they're still going through their own learning experiences. So let me just sum that up again. So the macrocosm being source, breaking off, wanting to get to know itself individually as souls. And then the microcosm here on earth is we forget who we are to try to remember who we are, to get to know ourselves individually as source through different lifetimes. And we do that as kind of a school. It's a learning experience. We go through different levels and different courses of getting to know ourselves through different experiences and through the people that we contract to come into our lives who play a role, and through the decisions that we make. And we can go back and look on it like, I didn't handle that very well. Maybe there's another way I can do it. And we keep going through the lessons until they're completed, until we really fully feel like we've learned it. And I believe that we chose, before we came down here, the lessons we wanted to learn and the people that we wanted to learn them with. And then also our spirit guides and our angels, who are part of our spiritual team, who assist us in the process as well. But we have to ask for help because we have free will and they can't interfere otherwise. All right, that is my video for today. I hope that made some kind of sense. If it did, if it resonated with you on some level, please make sure to give a like or to comment down below. Let me know what you think, or let me know what your definition of the meaning of life is. I'd love to hear other people's ideas and definitions. Like I said, this is just mine. This is what personally resonates with me at this moment in time. It could definitely change over time as well, but that's how I feel at the moment. And I'm not saying that I'm completely right or I'm completely wrong. It's just one. I'm just one perspective, and I love hearing other people's perspectives. So thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye everyone. Much love and light.